joined here by Dominic Scruton, who is a referee for the Durham University Refereeing Society. Dom, thanks for joining us. Firstly, just tell us a little bit about your role as a referee at the university.
So started refereeing 2 years ago in Freshers. Just did like the course which is offered at the university. Then I've just started on with women's games. Then I've refereed sort of men's Div 1, done a few Prems, did my first Floodlit Cup game as well this year, so quite enjoyed it. I'm also a treasurer of the Referee Society, so it's just like invoicing all the college teams, making sure all the finances are in good shape.
Now, obviously, you've gained a lot of experience there. You've been able to tell me that Rugby Union is one of the more complicated sports. Just how difficult is it to officiate, and what particular aspects of the game make it so hard to referee?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those. There's so many laws, especially when you first start, that you just didn't even realise sort of existed. One of the biggest points is the scrum. I think you learn after about a year or two that it's all about managing, like game management, managing the players, managing the body positions. So definitely scrum's like quite a difficult thing to deal with. But I think a lot of it's not necessarily like the laws. It's about, like, one of the biggest things is sort of contextuality. Like, depending on the level of game you're refereeing, the players sort of want different things from you, whether to play more advantage or play advantage which suits their needs and their skills. And then there's other things like materiality in a game in terms of offences. Sometimes you get offences which aren't clear, but as a referee you've got to make sure that you're communicating all your decisions that you make. Even if you don't make a decision, you still have to communicate that, and that sort of makes you a much better referee.
It touches on how sort of difficult it can be. One of the perhaps advantages over football is that there is a tremendous sort of amount of respect for the referee in Rugby Union. Do you find that is actually the case, or do you perhaps find yourself getting a bit of lip off players, which perhaps isn't visible to spectators?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely much better than football. There's a lot more respect there for the referee. You do get a fair amount of chat. There's nothing really malicious, but some of the players, especially with college rugby, can get a bit cocky. Think that sort of give you the big one, but you've just got to deal with that. But it's not that bad, really, to be honest.
So at the top of the game, I imagine you watch and almost idolise referee. What do you kind of make of the state of officiating within the game at the minute? And obviously there's been a lot of talk about high tackle laws. Are they too strict, or are they justified, considering you are kind of responsible in some respects for the players' safety?
Yeah, I think to some extent they are justified. Obviously, the amount of concussions we've had in the last sort of 5 or 10 years, and we need to sort of try and change the behaviour of players, especially when they're looking at sort of contact, taking the ball in, and the sort of body positions. But then at the same time, a lot of it is body positions, and it's about how the players are being trained, and sort of sometimes you've got to try and protect players from themselves. And with the new high tackle laws, that's not necessarily gonna do that, I don't feel.
You touched there on kind of the dangers of concussions and how kind of frequent they have been in the game. Is it more the responsibility of you to detect these, or is it down to the team doctor and coaches? Who does the responsibility fall on?
Well, first of all, in the law book, if the referee decides that a player has to leave the field, whether through injury or suspected concussion, then that is the referee's final decision. But at the same time, a lot of it is like the teams themselves and the players. Obviously, if I see someone concussed, I'll go over to them, check they're okay, do a sort of quick concussion test. But especially like college rugby, a lot of it is them. They've got to decide themselves. But obviously, if I feel like someone has been unconscious, then I'll definitely remove them off the field.
And finally, sort of from a personal point of view, I imagine it's quite a daunting prospect, being effectively in charge of 30 lads, in some aspects 30 angry lads. From a personal point of view, confidence-wise, have you found that refereeing's helped you off the field?
Oh yeah, absolutely, definitely. Just like dealing with the captains, trying to get everyone to work for you. So I understand like that you're there. You know, you've given your time to be there, and so if everyone wants to enjoy it. So it's about sort of that empathy with the captains, but also being quite strict at the same time. I think it's a great sort of life skill. Gives you a lot of confidence in like managing people, and yeah, it's just been really good.
Dom, thank you very much for your time.